welcome to the live stream. Welcome. As predicted, January has been crazy. I don't even know where the month has gone. Literally, I feel like it's just like boom, boom, boom. Go to bed, wake up, boom, boom, boom. Go to bed, wake up, boom, boom, boom. Like, this month is insane. But here we are, stoked to be here with you guys. Hey, Lacey. I literally just made this like whole dinner and then had like 2 minutes to eat it, and it like isn't that good. So that's how my right now is going. But anyways, we're gonna talk about the full moon in Cancer. Let me pull it up for you guys, and I can actually show you how I do it with Astro Gold. I also walk you through how to use Astro Gold in my Become an Astrologer course. But for those that aren't in there and want to learn how to use Astro Gold, let me see. Hey, Tori. Got it. Okay, does that look better? Yeah. Okay, so to pull up any transits, you go to edit chart. And we're going to do full moon in Cancer. Let's see, 113, which is very auspicious, I feel like. So we have about 3 days. It will peak in like the middle of the day. This is 2:27 Pacific time is when it peaks. So that is 3:27 for me. Oops, let's type in another. Let's type it in the correct box here. 3:27. Okay, yep, that's it. So what's unique about this full moon is that it is on Mars. And I actually have some lots showing right now that I'm going to delete from the chart just so they don't confuse us here. Another reason I love Astro Gold, you can literally find anything to add to the chart. Okay. So, full moon is at 23 degrees. It is on Mars. This is really intense energy. I mean, whatever really has been coming up for us since the beginning of October as it relates to the area you have Cancer ruling in your chart is getting a illumination. And combined with the whole reevaluation that's been happening since Mars went back into Cancer a few days ago, but really, again, reflect back onto when we had the pre-shadow period of Mars retrograde, which was, I believe, October 6th or October 8th. I give the exact dates in the Mars retrograde podcast, and there's a replay of that in the podcast section of the membership as well with the video. But I think it was in pre-shadow in Cancer for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So what was coming up for you in this area of life? For me, it's my 10th house. So it's been a lot of like, okay, there were ideas I had over the summer that I wanted to implement come October that did not happen. And now I'm like reevaluating those things. Like, what do I actually want to create? How do I actually want to go about it? What comes first? Because obviously, I want to do it all at once because I'm a manifesting generator, but I can't. I'm only one person. So for me, this Mars retrograde in my 10th house is like, okay, what do we actually want to put out into the world? And just reevaluating, reassessing that. And I anticipate this full moon to really illuminate that in a big way. There might be some healing that comes up around this full moon as well, since it's negatively aspecting Chiron. I don't like to use the word negative, but it is a square, so it is going to bring up challenges and conflicts. Really, I mean, we've been kind of facing this all week as the sun has been squaring Chiron, so we've already kind of gotten a little glimpse into this and how it's going to show up for us personally. And then the full moon is kind of like a climax of that energy, and there might be an emotional release, like I said, around it, or like a revelation that happens through some sort of emotional release where we're like, oh, okay, that's how I want to do this. That's, what I need to implement in order to move forward on this, that kind of thing. Because Mars retrograde is all about, okay, how are we taking action? How are we initiating ourselves? And with it being in Cancer, it's like, okay, how are we doing that with a little bit of a compassionate and empathetic lens? Mars and Leo is like, how are we taking action with with fun and playful energy? And Mars and Cancer is like, okay, how are we taking action considering the, the emotions of others, the feelings of others kind of thing, in regards to our own as well. I think a big theme too of the Mars retrograde is self-support, self-nurturance, how we're really caring for ourselves in ways that we need, and how we're balancing like our care and sensitivity to others with the care and support and sensitivity we need to have for ourselves as well. That's really one of the biggest lessons of the energy of Cancer, is how to balance care for others with care for ourselves. So that will be a big theme of this full moon as well. Like I said, it peaks on January 13th at 2:27 Pacific time, which for me is 3:27 p.m. The East Coast. I believe that's about 5:30, 5:27 p.m. And interestingly enough, it's at the same time as the new moon was that we just had in Capricorn on the 30th of December, which when I saw that listed out, I was like, is that a typo? But sure enough, it's not. I don't know the significance of that. I know it's kind of very rare for that to happen, but we had the new moon at 2:27 Pacific, and we're gonna have both 2:27 p.m. the full moon at 2:27 p.m. Pacific as well. So that is interesting. But yeah, and I think too, this will be an illumination of and a closing out of a cycle that we began with the new moon in Cancer. Like I was sharing with you all, like I, over the summer when we had the new moon in Cancer, got all these ideas of like, oh, I want to create this, I want to release this, I want to write this book, like blah, 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 blah. It was like all at once. It hit me. I was like, okay, so how am I going to do this? And over the last 6 months, I've been getting more clarity around that, right? And I think this full moon is going to bring that to a completion of like, okay, I have more answers, I have more clarity on what I want to do, what I want to begin, how I want to do it, how I want to share it, and really kind of bringing those dreams or those visions that we had to fruition, or starting to at least. And that'll be a big theme over the next month, month and 10 days, give or take, as we still have Mars retrograde in Cancer before it goes direct at the end of February. So yeah, this could be a pretty intense full moon, but again, it will shed light on just maybe things we've been seeking clarity around. We also have Venus getting pretty close to Saturn at this time, which to me is all about, again, like what is the dream you've been building since Saturn has been in Pisces? I'm like losing my memory for dates, but I swear I was so good at all of this stuff. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like being in elevation now or just all the travels, but I keep forgetting when Saturn moved into Pisces. I think it was 2023, which feels like forever ago. But whenever Saturn first moved into Pisces, I believe it was 2023. March of 2023. Like since then, we've been building something, right? We've had a vision, we've had a dream that we've been working towards, that we've like dedicated ourselves to, as much as we've maybe gone back and forth with it, or there's been delays around it. There's something overarching that we have been committing ourselves to, right, since then. And with Venus on Saturn at this time, and that kind of peaking this upcoming week, it's getting more clarity around how we're taking action with that discipline, what exactly the steps are that we're committing ourselves to doing to build this dream, and also how our values and our self-worth, our image, how we think of ourselves too, are aligned with that dream or with that vision, because Venus really rules self-worth, values. It also rules finances, and relationships as well. So that was a big theme of the North and South node being in Aries and Libra, was like, okay, how are we balancing our independence and our forward momentum into this new direction with who we have in our lives and how we think of ourselves, and how the people that we have around us are playing into our self-image and our sense of self, our identity. So that was a big thing that we were collectively balancing with the nodes in Aries and Libra. And now that they're about to shift, they will be, well, the North Node at least will be harmonizing with Mars as we have this full moon. The nodes actually move tomorrow. I don't have a time for that. Yeah, it's not listed in my, maybe it'll be in the ephemeris. Hold on. I think that's the only thing the Magic of Eye Planner doesn't do well is like there's no ephemeris on the nodes, or it's not included. That's so strange to me. Okay, well, we can go to tomorrow and see exactly what time it shifts. This is a great transition into this energy as well. But I do feel like with this full moon, the fact that it's kind of harmonizing. I mean, we could count it because it is 6 degrees of orb. But the main player in the harmonization of the nodes at this time is Mars, and it also is harmonizing with Neptune. So if your dreams have been weird, I've been writing them down lately and like talking to ChatGPT about them because they've been crazy and weird. But again, I feel like it's a lot of the healing that's coming up in our dreams, especially like the subconscious just clearing out stuff and that kind of, the things that we're maybe not aware of consciously that need to heal and need to be released. Because that's a big theme of full moons as well, is what is illuminated that needs to be released so we can have this transformation, we can have this manifestation in this area. So for me, anything involving Neptune and weird dreams is like anything involving Neptune causes weird dreams. But to me, it's really about like it's like 12th house energy. It's like things that were hidden from our conscious awareness are being processed, are being healed, are being released. That combined with the Chiron stuff I've talked about, we have going on too. It's just all kind of like and that's why I feel January is a really heavy month because we're experiencing this subconscious processing. And that is really exhausting, even if we're not like consciously aware of it, right? Because the subconscious sits in the body, and the body knows that this stuff is happening, even if our conscious mind does not. Does that make sense? I don't know if y'all saw, but on TikTok, I had someone make a video and be like, Kelsey, why do I feel exhausted? Why do I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck? And I'm like, it has to do with the nodes, yes, and the fact that they're about to shift signs, but also it has to do largely, I think, with the fact that Mars is still opposite Pluto, and then we have the Neptune stuff going on, and the Chiron stuff going on. So it's kind of like everything all at once is happening. And something else I'm just seeing at the time of this full moon as well is the sun will be in a harmonious aspect to Uranus. So again, that could bring, like I spoke to earlier, but didn't have the transit to explain why. And now I'm explaining that Uranus could create breakthroughs. Uranus could create this sudden innovation where we're like, okay, I wanted to do it this way, but I just realized I need to do it this way. Or there was this big release and I got clarity and now I want to move in this direction, or whatever it is. Like there's going to be breakthroughs that come through around this time as well. I think just because the sun is shining its light on Uranus as well as the moon on this day. And I think those are like the major players. So let's see when the nodes shift. I feel like I already did this, but I literally do not remember what time it was. I think it might have been like 5 p.m. or so. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so it's before 4 o'clock. So tomorrow evening, for most of us, if you're in the US, that is when the nodes will shift. Oh, here we go. Yeah, literally just after 4 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Yeah. 4:02 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's when we'll have the nodes officially in Pisces and Virgo. I don't think they're gonna move back. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna move back. Sometimes they do that because the nodes naturally are moving backwards and they go direct for like a little bit every day, but no, I don't think they're gonna move backwards. And it's still going. Okay. Let's put the nodes at like the forefront of the chart. Let's do the 11th house. Okay. So to me, the fact, like I said, that we're about to shift, we're closing out a huge cycle that has been a focus since July of 2023. I mean, really, we have these big themes that have been coming up since, we had Saturn move into Pisces in March of 2023. We had the nodes shift in 2023. So there was a lot of stuff that was happening then that we're like closing out now, or that we're getting more clarity around now. And where the nodes are in your chart is one of them. So as they shift, we're really going to feel this in the areas of life that you have Saturn, that you've had Saturn moving through, right? Because Saturn has been there since March of 2023. And so that's been giving you a little glimpse of what this nodal energy is going to bring, and just in a different way, because Saturn is a very different energy than the North Node. Saturn is, like I was saying, what are you disciplined to? How are you committing yourself to building some type of dream? And the North Node is like, okay, what collective direction are we headed? And what are we focused on as a collective? They really represent the nodes, where the nodes are, they represent the collective seasons that we're in. So, like, everyone since really like July of 2023 has been super hyper focused. And back then, we also had a Venus retrograde in Leo. Remember this, like right after the node shifted, we had a Venus retrograde in Leo that just changed people's relationships massively. And so ever since that shift took place, mostly because of the nodes, we've been hyper focused as a collective on relationships, on dating. Like, we've really seen a lot of people who talk about dating and relationships and masculine versus feminine energy like thrive and blow up on social media. Um, and that's really been at the forefront of what a lot of people are just focused on and talking about, like how bad it is to be single right now, because dating is just such a shit show, and how much has changed, and la 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 la. Like, that's been our collective focus. But with the nodes shifting into Pisces and Virgo, that collective focus is going to shift, I believe, into spirituality, religion. Do y'all know any people that have started to go to church again? Because I do, and it's like crazy. And like, yep, we're already seeing this. um, and also health. We're going to be focused on, that's kind of the Pisces aspect, is really moving into this more faith-based energy. However, on a personal level, you choose to do that, whether it is going to church again, or just having a meditation practice, or having this is how I connect to God, source, the universe, whatever practice. Like, we're all kind of going to be collectively focused on more spiritual type tools, practices, and things of that nature. So a lot of those types of things are really going to thrive during this transit. Astrology, Kundalini yoga, chanting, prayer, meditation, Reiki, like all those types of like woo-woo alternative healing things that are also, have a spiritual origin, are going to thrive during this time. And that's going to be your collective focus. But also balanced with that is the South Node in Virgo, which is going to be health. This is going to cause a lot of, how do I say that? How do I want to say that? Like, it's going to have one negative aspect of the South Node in Virgo could be a reliance on the mind, could be a reliance on like overthinking, which can, causes anxiety. All those types of, like, the shadow of Virgo is, I guess, the best way to say it. Like, the shadow of Virgo is overthinking, overanalyzing, wanting to rely on the mind, wanting to like figure everything out, wanting to analyze and be logical about stuff. But we're really meant to during this period until, I believe, the nodes shift out of Pisces and Virgo in like March of 2026. I haven't looked up on that exactly. It might be actually like the summer of 2026. But until then, for the next 18 months, give or take, we are going to really be drawn in this direction of having faith and surrendering the mind and choosing to rely on forces that are really kind of outside of our control. I don't know if any of you guys have major Pisces placements or know anybody in your life that is a Pisces, but I swear they just like, they're the best with like change. They really are, like, unless they have like Virgo placements or any air sign kind of placements, or earth sign placements. But for the most part, what I have noticed in my Pisces friends is they just like, they just go with the flow. They're just so easygoing in that regard, and they just have this like utmost faith that everything is going to work out, and it always does, and they're just really surrendered to the process. And that is really what our, our collective lesson is going to be over the next year and a half, is to have that kind of mindset, because there is going to be so much about our world that changes, and it's so important that we learn to just roll with the tides, and we learn to embrace that flow and embrace that mutability that Pisces really brings to the world. Lacey is a Pisces moon and Venus. Oh, okay. Amazing. Yeah, I know one of my good friends she has a ton of Pisces, but she also has some stuff in Virgo. And so it's kind of funny to see the two show up in a real life person, because I'm like, oh, that's so energy. Like, you do have this flowy, go with the flow, whatever, but you also have this like analytical, like everything needs to be figured out. I need to like, kind of energy. So I think, again, that's what we're really going to see as an overall theme in the collective over the next year and a half, is like these people that are really, really just operating from faith and are moving in that direction, versus the people, and we're all going to have this flow of this energy. Like, it's not a linear journey by any means. We're all going to oscillate between these two themes from time to time, but it's just going to be so funny to see it in real time in the collective. These tendencies to show up, and these over analyzing themes, these themes of perfectionism. It's really just going to take the collective by storm. It's going to be a really overarching theme of everything that's going on. And what was it? What else was it? Oh, that's another thing I was going to say, is health, supplements, like all things like health, wellness, nutrition, meal plans. Like, people, I feel like this is when people who are chefs or like doing cooking type stuff on social media are going to blow up. I have a friend who is a chef. Like, she was on Hell's Kitchen and has been on all these well-known cooking shows or whatever, and she is starting, I can already see that she's like starting to feel this call, because she's like, I caught up with her recently and she's like, oh yeah, I'm working on creating this and this and this and this and this, like, get my recipes out there and teach people about healthy eating. I'm like, yep, like, we're already kind of seeing this take place. So that's another thing we're going to see as well, is like maybe even like at home workouts thriving again, like they did during 2020. Just things of that nature. People just really focused on like, okay, how can I take better care of my body? But it's also going to be, there's going to be a need to focus as well on the spiritual, the physical, and the mental spiritual health. I think that's really going to thrive too, is like people who are turning to spirituality or turning to religion in order to have this see this bigger picture of things operating outside of themselves, and like not figuring, like, not, how do I say that? Not feeling like they have to figure everything out themselves. And like I said, with that comes the duality of people who are going to be overly reliant on the mind and stressed out because of it. But really, the lesson for the next year and a half is to surrender to the flow, and just realize that there's a divine timing to everything, and everything is working out. And it is when we trust in that divine intervention or divine orchestration, whatever you want to call it, that really miracles and magic happen in the world. So I think they might run the risk, while the North Node is on Neptune, of just, there's a couple things this could create. This could create like an intense, like, creative thing just coming to light, like just this thing, like, this is the first time I've like said this anywhere, other than like a few people who know me and know I'm working on this and have been the last couple days. But like, I'm working on a book right now that literally just came out of nowhere. I was in the bathtub, which is so funny because Pisces is water and Neptune is water, and like I was taking a bath, and all of a sudden I just got this idea, and I was like, okay, I'll write this book. Like, and it's just coming through me. Like, I'm not even, it's the wildest thing. So that is a thing that could be happening at this time as well. It's like you might just get this idea, this intuitive thing to do. And it's like you're just a vessel for it, and you're like, what the fuck? So watch out for that. If you've already gotten it, act on it. Um, because literally that's something that really that this energy could create is just these divinely inspired ideas um, coming through, these divine these divine downloads is what I could call them. We could also run the risk right now of just feeling not clear about things because Neptune really deludes stuff. It puts a veil over things. So, that's kind of the double edged sword of Neptune. It's really creative, it's really inspired, it's really, spacey and ethereal, but it can also just cloud us a little bit. So we might feel like we're just navigating uncharted waters right now in some ways as well. Of like, okay, I don't know, what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, like just kind of feeling unclear a little bit, especially as it relates to like the direction that we want to head. Um, yeah, that we just might not feel like we have all the answers right now. And that again is just kind of January's energy too. And as we continue to have things move over Neptune, we're going to have little spurts of that because that's just the season we're in. Tori says that's how it was for me to become a holistic nutritionist. It just came to me while I was cooking. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so amazing. Literally, it comes at the most, like, it comes when it comes. It's so funny. But yeah, it's very defined spleen as well. Like if you get ideas, like write them down. Or that was the one thing I like did as soon as I got out of the bathtub. I was like, I need to like write an outline or just write like everything that came about this. So that can be helpful too to just kind of ground that idea in so that it doesn't get lost in the ethers. Because I really feel like these types of things are miracles coming to us. And what else? We're gonna have the North Node and Saturn conjoin. I think later in the year. I don't know if I went over that in the 2025 update because this planner that I use for all the transits doesn't give me. I literally could not find my ephemeris to save my life, y'all, in my storage unit. I am also really missing my Astro board, but when I move, it'll all come out of storage in boxes and I'll find everything. But that's one way I feel deluded right now. It's like, I don't know where any of my stuff is that I want. I'm looking at this book for the transit and it's not going to give it to me because it doesn't give the nodal transits. But let's see when, yeah, the North Node can join Saturn. That's right, because the North Node, or Neptune, will move out of Pisces. I might have mentioned this in the 2025 update when I saw it on the chart, even though it's not listed in the transit list that I use. Yeah, the first week of April, and then so April's really gonna be a month of like fast forward motion and really if we the dream we've been building since for the last 2 years, I feel like it's really going to start to come to fruition around this time because we'll have Mercury there, we'll have Venus there, and Venus will be retrograde for a little bit, but it does go direct, I think, shortly after this. And then they'll all be on, well, Mercury won't be anymore, but Saturn, Venus, and the North Node will all be together in Pisces. So this is like very creative. This transit, this is very much like, okay, here's your reward for like moving in the direction of your dream the past 2 years, even if it's felt like a crazy roller coaster ride and up and down. Like I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. It's like we're gonna start to see the things like actually manifest from this. Like that's another thing that the North Node of Pisces gives. It's like I said, miracles. And just these kind of I just try to combine crazy and creative. Crazy, creative manifestations coming to fruition. Tori says, yes, I have a defined spleen. Ah, wrote it down immediately. Yes, it is so cool. I love the spleen. I think it's one of my favorite centers because it is just so magical. It's so Like the way Ra describes it in the human design book is that it's like instinctual awareness, like it's a survival awareness. And that's really what like our intuition is. It's like our literal survival, like monkey brain bringing in these intuitive insights. Um, yeah, and like what we need to act on, what we need to do in order to like, because it's not just about our own survival, it's also about the survival of the collective, right? It's also about sharing our gifts and our ideas in order to promote like the well-being of everybody around us. And that's going to be a big theme at this time as well, is like, how are you sharing your gifts? How are you being of service? Especially your creative pursuits, like anything creative is going to thrive. Like the last time that the North Node and the South Node were in Virgo, respectively, was 2006 and 2007. And yes, that was like the prelude to the 2008 recession, but it was also the prelude to amazing freaking music. Like, do y'all remember the music back then? It was literally like the best. So that, that is the kind of similar time period we're returning to. Obviously, not everything is the same, and it never will be again, but that's how I think of Pisces energy too. And the North Node being there is like creative things are going to flourish. Music, art, like anything that is creative and that is like literally channeled through people. Lacey says, yes, love that. Crazy creative manifestations. Yes, that's a hard thing to say. Ready for all the miracles. Tori says, I'm so ready to. Yes, yes, best music. I'm literally so excited. I've been listening to that like lately to remind myself, and I'm just so excited. I think, it won't be the same, obviously, but I do think we're going to see a lot more like positive music, whereas a lot of our music, I feel like, has been about like heartbreak and has been kind of like, I don't know, keeping us stuck in patterns that aren't super positive or helpful. I think we will see a resurgence of people who are spreading like positive messages with music and creating like manifestation type music, or like music with positive affirmations, or like things like that, is really going to thrive as well. Yes, I'm so excited. I've already, okay, so then we have, yeah, so that the North Node Saturn transit will last for like a month, from like April to May, to mid, well, it'll probably even last through May. Let me see here. Yeah, really until Saturn goes into Aries almost. So for like a month and a half, we're going to have the North Node on Saturn. This is going to kind of force us to move in the direction of like really what Pisces is trying to bring us: religion, spirituality, faith, creativity, listening to our intuition, like acting on the things that we receive through intuition. Like, with Saturn here, it's like we can't avoid moving in this direction. We can't veil ourselves from it anymore. And this could look, in real life, this could look like a lot of things. And this is why I kind of have been feeling like 2025 is going to be similar to 2020. And I talked about this in the 2025 update, where something's going to trigger something. It's going to trigger people to just massively change how they're going about life. And like we're all just gonna be kind of like pushed into a new direction, whether we like it or not, whether we've already been doing it, we've already known this was coming or not, right? It's gonna kind of like force us to move into a new direction if we haven't already been doing that. Like, as an example, this could look like, if you have been wanting to quit your job for 3 years or however long, and like start a business or share your art with the world that you do on the side right now, and like you're just waiting for it to take off so you can quit your job. This is going to be the energy of like that company just dissolves, or that company goes bankrupt, or whatever, and like you literally have no job anymore and you have to pursue your art full time. Like, this is that energy. um this is totally that energy. Okay, let's see if anything else. I don't think we're going to have anything else major on the North Node other than that. We'll have Saturn and Neptune go back into Pisces. But no, we're already in December 2025 now. So nothing is going to move over the North Node again. After that, we are going to have Mars on the South Node. Let me go back to that, actually. Wait, where is Mars? Okay, there we go. We're going to have Mars on the South Node in July. It won't last very long. And then, of course, with Mars being on the South Node, it is opposite the North Node. So that's going to trigger something as well. Like, trigger just some massive release, I feel like. It's kind of like the energy of, so this is going to happen mid July to, yeah, like 2 weeks from July 15th to like the end of July, basically. And this is kind of giving the energy of like, your intuition. Okay, okay, this is a perfect example, even though whatever, I'll explain it. Y'all know the BOI thing. If y'all have a business, if you don't, I'll explain it. So business owners had to file this like BOI report to the government about their business. And they were going to fine if business owners didn't get it done, turned in on time, they were going to fine every business owner like per day that it wasn't turned in. And then all of a sudden we find out like, oh, Texas sued the federal government and said this was unconstitutional. So now nobody has to do it. And then they came back and were like, oh, the Supreme Court or whoever, I don't know who did this, but somebody in the government was like, oh, we reject that appeal, blah, blah, blah. You do actually have to file the BOI report now. And I think we do still have to file them, and I just did it to get out of the way. But this like South Node on Mars is like the energy of like, oh, I just did all this stuff I didn't need to do. And my intuition told me the whole time that I didn't need to do that. But I did it anyways because I was caught up in the logical mind, right? That's like, oh no, but it makes sense. Like it doesn't make sense to not do this. What do you mean? That's like the best example I could give, even though it did turn out we still had to file it. I guess another example could be like if the Tell TikTok ban, and if you've moved all your content off of TikTok because you're anticipating the ban, and then it doesn't get banned, and like, oh, why did I just spend like a whole week like working myself to the bone to move my content or like put content elsewhere, whatever, and then I didn't have to do it. This is kind of the energy. So like trust your intuition in July as it relates to like work that, putting your energy into something, organizing something, doing something with things that you probably will find out later you didn't need to do. So don't overexert yourself in July is what I'm saying. Like listen to your intuition, even if it doesn't make sense at all. Michelle says I have Chiron in Pisces. Ooh, okay. So yeah, I have Chiron in Virgo. So the South Node is going to be on it, but that won't happen until like next year because my Chiron's at early degrees. But so it depends on the degrees of your Chiron for when the North Node will be on it. But in general, it's probably really going to force you to heal something that maybe, especially around a creative work or something spiritual, anything like that. It's going to kind of pull you into healing of a wound in some way. Okay, so let's go back and look ahead, just see if when the next time something conjoins the North Node. Okay, the next thing we'll have is Mercury in February of next year. And then we'll have Venus move over shortly after that in February of 2026. Ooh, we'll have Mars on the North Node in March of 2026. And then there's a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it looks like, that will go over the North Node. So that's going to be interesting. I feel like that's just kind of, more of a kind of forced moving in the direction. It could also be another spurt of creative energy that could really propel a lot of us to, if we haven't been like sharing our creative gifts or kind of changing how we're sharing our creative gifts. Like an example, I don't know if y'all know this about the business that I have, teaching astrology and human design, how it started was tarot readings. So the energy of this transit in 2026 is kind of like, oh, if you started off doing nutrition, if you start off doing astrology, like you're gonna either blend the two or move in a new direction. Because that's kind of what this energy is giving. So obviously I don't do tarot readings anymore, but that is what got me to literally have this whole well-oiled machine of a business in astrology and human design. That was 5 years ago. It's crazy to me, but yeah, this is kind of what that energy is giving. It's like, okay, we're reevaluating the creative gifts, the intuitive gifts that we are sharing with the world, and maybe just kind of making some changes there. And that's March of 2026, and then it does look like the nodes are gonna. Oh my God, there's gonna be so much in Aries in April of 2026. That is crazy. I haven't really looked all that much into 2026 until now, so this is interesting. We're gonna have the node shift. Whoops. What month was that? I think that was June or July. Okay, yeah, it was probably July. Yes, so we are gonna have the nodes move again into Aquarius and Leo in July, it looks like, of 2026. So the nodes will be in Pisces and Virgo for a year and a half. Little, is that? Yeah, that's like exactly a year and a half. Okay. Let's see when they move. Oh, actually, it looks like it. Oh, no, it'll be July. Yep, July 27th. Well, that'll be fun. 2026 feels so far away. We'll have Chiron move into Taurus then as well. Yeah, those are like the major things that I see. Uranus and Gemini. Uranus on Mars is going to be interesting, but let's get through 2025 first. Okay, so that shift, North Node into Pisces, South Node into Virgo, happens tomorrow at, what time was it? Like 4, just after 4 p.m. So like 3 p.m. Pacific time. We could also, with the North Node in Pisces, see a lot more scams. I know scams have been a huge thing the past, like really since Saturn went in Pisces. But even I feel like Neptune in Pisces has been causing that. It's just gotten worse as Neptune has moved towards the end of Pisces. Because I remember back in 2021, people were scamming. People were pretending to be one of my friends who did Akashic record readings and scamming people through that, and that was like before Saturn went into Pisces. So, but also Jupiter was in Pisces. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a shadow side of Pisces is scams. So read up on the common scams because, oh my God, they're getting so good at them. It's kind of scary. That is also going to be something that will just kind of be more prevalent with the North Node in Pisces as well, unfortunately. So don't get scammed. Protect yourself. Okay, so that is all I have for you guys as it relates to that. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Any questions about how it's going to affect your chart or anything like that, or share. For me, I anticipate it'll be just more of a... I'm in my Saturn return too, so it's going to move over my Saturn eventually. I don't think that'll happen until the end of 2025 because the nodes, like I said, move backwards. So they start at 29 degrees. My Saturn's at kind of early degrees. So, but yeah, I anticipate North Node in my 6th house will be me focusing on really like better health practices, especially as it relates to like moving my body more. Like that's something I'm trying to bring back with me from Europe is going on walks and taking the stairs, even though it's really freaking hard to get my walks in or just get the same mileage in. It's not hard to get a walk in. It's hard to get the same mileage in. Like it was so easy to walk like 8 miles in Paris, and Here, it's a struggle to walk like 3. So even though there's like a really nice downtown area where I live and like, I can walk that whole strip, but it's still only like a mile. I'm like, damn. Oh my god. So, anyways, that's how it's been showing up for me. I'm starting to like cook my own meals more and eat out less, which makes sense. North Node and Saturn in my sixth house of like how am I taking care of my health on a daily basis. Um, and yeah, it will move. South Node will move over my Chiron in the summer of 2026. That'll be interesting, but I'm gonna take it 1 year at a time. Okay, cool. If there are no questions, y'all feel complete. That all feels clear. We'll wrap it up. Wrap it up for tonight. I believe the next live is a Q&A. A little less than a week from now on Thursday. And I hope to see y'all there. It'll be like a Zoom. It won't just be like my face, it'll be all of our faces. And I'm so excited because I feel like I think the last one I did was in France. So it's been at least 2 or 3 weeks since I did a Q&A. And I have so much fun in those. So I'm so excited. So excited. Lacey says my North Node is in the 8th house and Pisces rules my 6th house. Oh, okay. Are you a Libra rising too? Um, oh, North Node in the 8th house. That's interesting. Yeah, I would say the people that will, like nodal placements that'll feel this the most are people who have North and South Node in Pisces or Virgo. And then, because it'll be their nodal return or opposition. And then if you have, I mean, if you have your North Node in an Earth sign, then the North Node will sextile it. So that could be positive. But again, we have to look at the degrees for this stuff when it's going to be exact because it's not gonna last a whole year and a half. And then what else? Oh, the mutable north nodes and south nodes. But I mean, if your north node's in a mutable sign, then your south node's in a mutable sign, which would be Gemini or Sag. Then eventually the north node of Pisces is going to square it, which could just add some tension to those placements. Oh, cool. You're Libra rising too. Awesome. That's right. I have my north node in the 2nd house. So your south node is in the 2nd house. My south node is in the 8th house. Oh yeah, I guess if you have your north node in a water sign, it will trine the north node will trine your north node, like in Scorpio or Cancer. That could be a good time that would support the fulfillment of your purpose or just movement in that direction in general. But again, we have to look at the degrees for that stuff. You ordered a video from me. Oh, you mean like an audio reading? Cool. Yeah, then I'll probably cover that. I feel like I was gonna say something else about that. Oh, Torio Northos and Scorpio. Yes. Yeah, so it's gonna North Node of Pisces is gonna trine it eventually. Michelle says my North Node is in the 4th house, Capricorn. Oh yeah, also Libra rising. Amazing. Love it, love it. Yeah, so it will sextile your North Node eventually. And then same for you, Lacey. It'll sextile your North Node at some point. Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It might even, if y'all have late degrees, nodes. It could be when Saturn does. So like I have a late degree node. Mine's at 23 degrees, I think. And so when Saturn and the North Node and what was it, Mercury and Venus are all together in Pisces, like come the next couple months. I think March and April, right? It's gonna try in my North Node and my Pluto, so that'll be interesting. That could be really good, actually. Mm. If I finish this book before then and like launch it or something else, I don't know. But that could be good for career stuff. Oh, your North Node's in Gemini. Okay, so then it's gonna square it. I don't remember. No, I haven't had a nodal square since I was not into astrology then. It would have been, or if I was, I didn't know anything about transits or like the North Node. When would that have been? Because it moves signs every 9 years, or no, it just moves sign every 9 years. Moves signs every year and a half. It cycles through each sign every 18 years. So I had my nodal opposition in 2021. 18 divided by 4 is like 4.5. So that would have been like, let me see when I had my nodal square. What is 2021 minus, let's just say 5? 16, 2016. That was actually a really good time for me. Wait, no, that's not right, because that's when we had the North Node in Virgo. I'm looking for when it was in Leo. Okay, so this would have been like 2017. Yeah, because the notes trip me up thinking of transits because they move backwards, and that is hard to think of a planet's movement when it moves backwards from all the rest of the planets. Okay, so this was like August of 2017 when I had the North and South nodes squaring my nodes. And this triggered a move. But oh, wait, it also is when I started my first business. Because, and this is why I see, like, a lot of people say that squares are negative, but I honestly see them as positive because it puts like tension on you to change something that otherwise would just remain the same. So this is super cool to look at because I haven't looked at it from this lens of like where the nodes were. Oh wait, no, it was November 1st, 2017 is when I started my first business. And I started it because I was so fed up of like working for other people because dropped out of college and then just worked customer service jobs, and I was so tired of it at this point, which had been like 5 years of me doing that, and I was so sick of it. I was like, that's it. What else can I do? How can I start a business? Opportunity just found me. I did it, that kind of thing. But it was like because I was so frustrated with my current situation in terms of career that I was like, I'm doing something differently. So that's what I feel like the nodal square can create. For those of you that have the North Node in Gemini or Sag, that's something to look forward to over the next year and a half, depending on when it goes exact for you as well. Is that kind of like push to really align with what you want for yourself, because you will reach a point probably with what you have been doing that you don't truly love, where you're over it and you want to move it in a new direction. Lacey says that makes sense for my romantic life. Yeah, that could be how it shows up for sure. Especially if your North Node like squares your Venus or something. Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, any final thoughts, questions? I gotta go figure out what I'm gonna do with this dinner that I made that I don't really love. Were y'all on when I said that at the beginning? Oh man. Oh man. Life goes on. And then yeah, the replay will be posted. I'll probably post it in the video library because we talked about more than just the full moon. But I might edit it. And edit the full moon stuff out so that yeah, I can just be the nodal stuff for the video in the library. You're so welcome, Lacey. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, Tori and Michelle. Appreciate y'all. Hope to see you on Thursday in the Q&A. I'm ready with questions if you have any about your chart or just anything. They're usually just an open forum. But it's better if you come with things you want to talk about. So yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. I appreciate you, Tori. Okay, bye, y'all. I'll see you soon.